Coach Brady, Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports 1080. Great win yesterday.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Hey, just tell me, when did you get a good feel for what Kansas City was trying to do to you guys defensively?
I don't know if you ever really do when you play them. Um, I don't mean that it's a credit to they do a great job schematically, and Spags is always they do a great job with checks and alerts, with basically everything that you do. But it kind of gets to a point when you play them, you got to kind of really just focus on yourself and understand what your guys do well, and try to not overcomplicate it for them. And I was just saying, when you got a guy like 17, just make sure you got the ball in his hands. And obviously, as you saw at the end of the game, good things happen.
Absolutely, man. It seemed like they were a little bit confused and off the rocker with, those motions and those stack formations. That proved to be some man beaters. But key moment of the game, man, 39, 4.5 to go. You needed to keep it ahead of the sticks. Just, run us through that play there. You could.
Yeah. Is this you're talking the Cleo catch?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're thinking in that situation, right? They're probably going to heat you up, and so we happen to having the thought process of, hey, the ball doesn't have to go past the sticks, and get the ball to your playmakers. And Josh was doing a great job in there all game of staying in the pocket. Ty doing a good job with the O-line and protecting it. And I know initially Josh was thinking to his left, potentially working out. Maybe if he gets on the Khalil, maybe a little faster, Khalil doesn't take the hit, but just speaks volumes to kind of who Khalil is, that in those moments. But man, he finds a way to get it done. And it was a huge play in the game. We're up by 2 points right there, and we don't convert that. We have to punt the ball back to them. And so, once you get into that situation in those games, you're thinking players, not plays. And just a product of those two guys trusting them, and they find ways to get it done.
Speaking of players, how refreshing was it to see Curtis Samuel out there, making plays for his team and getting his first touchdown as a Bill?
Yeah, no, I loved it. I'm not too sure what the dance was. I got a lot to learn. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously, up to this point, not exactly what Curtis was expecting, but, he's been battling a lot of injuries, and, it was nice to see him the last 2 weeks kind of healthy out there, kind of moving around and getting a taste of kind of who he is. And, I feel like you can see the confidence, the speed of the rack ability with him, and, made a lot of plays out there yesterday, and, something to continue to build on, and, gets our offense where we're going to want to eventually be. We're going to need him.
Absolutely, Coach. Great win yesterday. Enjoy your bye week.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Good. How you doing, bud?
Good. So you look at last year at this time going into the bye, you had kind of just taken over as the play caller. And now, more than a year into it here, what changes for you during the bye week? I mean, I'm sure you might approach it the same way, but are you accomplishing anything different this year?
Yeah, no, I think one thing you guys will learn about me is I kind of try to be as consistent as possible. And, I've approached, or you approach the bye week the same way. And it's an opportunity to take a step back and kind of look back at, what you've done, things that, tendencies, things that maybe you've gotten away from that, or good schemes or stuff that you got to get back to, or things that in your head you might think, you try to do a good job throughout the weeks of, really kind of staying on top of that. And we got a great, do a great job on staff doing that. But really, you have an opportunity during an open week to take a deep breath and really kind of look at it and kind of put together a plan of like, hey, where we want to go from here. But regardless of the win yesterday or not, it was going to be the same approach this week, and we have to find ways to continue to get better. And I hope we take advantage of that this week.
I'd imagine you're probably not doing a ton of installation at this point in the year, but with all the different injuries, what's been the biggest challenge of kind of mixing and matching what you've had to work with over the last few weeks or so?
Yeah, it's part of that's the it's part of what comes with coaching, and it's exciting. I speak all the time about the character in that room, and just the guys that just continually like stand up and they're like, hey, it's my opportunity and I'm going to make the most of it. And I have full confidence that if guys are up, and our quarterback clearly does too, because you see him not shying away from not bypassing progressions, that if guys are up, they're rolling with it. And the reality of it in this profession, especially as the season goes, you don't really know who's going to be up. And sometimes come Saturday, you're still trying to figure out who's going to be up on game day. And, and guys just, whether you're on a practice squad or you're inactive, just staying ready. And then when their opportunity comes, making the most of it. And so, it'll be exciting. Hopefully we get some guys back, but, to kind of have everybody to kind of work with. But I'm confident with whoever we have available is going to be able to get the job done. And they've shown to be able to step up.
For a guy like Amari, how beneficial do you think this bye week can be for him? Not just health wise, but I'm sure it's kind of been a whirlwind for him the last few weeks, and maybe he gets a week to, I know he's a football guy, but kind of focus on football after this week.
Yeah, no, I hope he gets away, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a lot, right? And this the game of football, right? It's physically taxing, but it's also mentally and emotionally. And I think sometimes you need to unplug a little bit, and they're still humans, right? And I think he's done an incredible job since he's been here. His work ethic, his approach, even when he was injured, man, preparing like he was going to be ready to go. And it was just fun to watch him make big plays yesterday. That's why he's here, and he looks like he's having a lot of fun playing football here and doing a great job with the guys. And so I want him to get away and unplug a little bit this week. Naturally he'll always stay locked in and making sure he's continuously kind of learning the system, but love where he's at and excited to continue to progress with him.
Is his snap count, is that a matter of maybe, having 2 weeks off, or maybe still learning the playbook a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. When you're you're learning, there's only so much you want to put on a plate slash, coming off of a couple of weeks, being injured and, seeing how that was going to hold up and everything. And, he didn't blink. When you can one hand a ball with a cast on, kind of speaks to the kind of football player you are. And, excited for him to continue to just progress with it.
Thanks. Enjoy your week.
Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon, Coach George Radney, Challenger Community News. How you doing this afternoon?
How you doing, George?
Good, good. My first question for you is Zach Davison. How is it that you're able to bring guys in that haven't played, that come up from the practice squad? The guy makes his first catch during the game. Are you able to see what they do in practice and say, hey, do you think these certain plays could work for that individual player per se?
Yeah, I think. Look, these guys have been with us since OTAs and training camp, and they've earned the opportunities. We're not playing guys just because we're down injuries and we have to. I had full confidence that whatever Zach Davis was going to be able to do, he was going to go in there and he's going to know his job. And, when the opportunity came to make a play, he made the play. And that's kind of what he's done. And he showed that even on the practice squad going against our defense every single day. And the type of person he is. And you can see that Josh has the trust in him, that he didn't blink and progressed through it and found them. And that's kind of the guys that we have. And, I'm excited to see them. It's tough when you don't make the team after, when you're hoping to make a football team and you have to go on the practice squad and you sit down with these guys on cut down day, but you let them know like, hey, we're going to need you at some point this year. And you got to make sure you're ready when your time comes. And a guy like him and, multiple guys on our football team that are just understanding that it's frustrating not playing, but I'm going to stay ready because when my time comes, I don't have to get ready. And he's a product of that.
And so that's more of a lot of mental thing, where the guys have to mentally stay focused and say, hey, whenever that opportunity comes, they have to be ready, as you were just saying.
Yeah, I mean, we've had multiple instances this year where guys, are having to prepare like they're playing the football game. They don't actually know if they're going to be up until the day of the game or the day before the game. But it's part of that, what comes with this business. And there's a reason we have the type of players that we have, not necessarily from a physical attributes, but just how they kind of prepare and how they are, being able to handle everything that comes with their roles. And I'm proud of the guys, their approach and a guy like Zach and Richard Garage and Shage, guys that have continuously stepped up when their opportunities kind of have asked of it. And there's a reason they're here.
Yeah, so Garage and Vandermark, how would you rate their play especially Garage coming in the fourth quarter and having to play almost cold, so to speak?
Yeah,
how would you? That's got to be tough.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. No, I mean Vandy. That's why I love Vandy. And unfortunately, obviously, what happened to Spencer, but just getting Vandy in there last week, being backed up and, him picking up the twist and then doing a great job on the screen. And, just he's a confident football player, but it's one thing to be confident, but also to go in there and then feel like, you're making good plays. And so I felt like that was something that was big for him last week, and he didn't blink. And I had full confidence in him, and he knew it. And I thought he played that way. And, Coach Cromer, Coach Gunday doing an incredible job just getting him ready to go. And, I thought he did a great job last night. And Garage, again, just like you're saying, it's a guy that doesn't know if he's going to be up, but he's preparing and going against, Greg and Vaughn and that every single day and getting better, and finds out that he's going to be up on game day, and who knows, he's one snap away. But he didn't sit there and just, hey, you know what, I'm not going to be up this week. I'm on the practice squad. He prepared, and look what happened, a critical element in the game, and he's having to play. And like I said, there's a reason he's here.
Absolutely, especially after standing around for that long and then being able to go in. I was impressed with his play as well. Thank you, Coach, and have a great weekend. We'll talk with you next week.
I appreciate you, Kev.
Hey, Coach, or hey, Joe, Ian Mills for Channel 10 in Rochester. What did you see on the fourth down play in the first half that led to the interception? Looked like, at least on our end, maybe a bit of miscommunication. What did you see on your end?
Yeah, I think a combination of things. It's a play that, if I can go back in the same situation, I'd call it again. So I'm not gonna just go off the quality of the decision based off the result. But you'd love for, just talking with Josh, the potential of maybe hanging in there a little bit and seeing maybe, Curtis kind of popping on a cross or just cleaning up some of the things. So there's just some of the details in the execution that we can do a better job of. I can call a better play in that situation, as we kind of talk about it. But, now knowing the result, but, I think if we get back in that, it's a play that, Josh has a lot of confidence in, and, he'd like that one back for sure.
Obviously, Dawson Knox has been targeted a little bit more recently. Obviously, part of that's because of the Dalton Kincaid injury. But how satisfying has it been to get him back into the fold of things and have a couple of big games back to back here?
Yeah, it's huge. Dawson Knox is a Pro Bowl player, and unfortunately, it's when we got a lot of people, it's hard to get the ball spread around to everybody. And he's the most unselfish player on our football team, and he's when his opportunities comes, he's making the most of it, and he's doing an incredible job in the run game. And, he brings so much value to us. And unfortunately, obviously, what happened with Dalton, but just seeing him go in there and not blink and know that he's better than he was a few years ago when he was a Pro Bowl football player. And, Josh has all the trust in the world in him, and it showed that last week in Indy. And, the opportunities on third down and the flood concept into the boundary, and where he ran over three cameraman. I hope it wasn't your guys. But it's always good to see Dawson rolling.
Yeah. Lastly, for me, you tweet 1-0 after every single win, presumably, right, treating each win the same. But is there any extra satisfaction, beating a team that was previously undefeated and going into the bye week now?
No, I mean, I always love a win going into bye week, no matter what. That's always refreshing, no matter you never enjoy losses. But sometimes when you lose, at least when you get to prepare for our next team, it's a little easier. But no, we try to preach the consistency, and that they all count the same, and that's our focus, is trying to score one more point than the opposing team. And if we can go 1-0 each week, good things are going to happen. And it was an incredible environment last night. Like, I enjoy, I don't get to play football, but when I get to call games in those environments and see those things, man, it's a lot of fun. It gets you juiced up. Like, I'm human too. I have emotions, but at the end of the day, I mean, they all count the same. And all we're trying to do is just go 1-0.
All right. Thanks so much.
I appreciate you.
Hey, Joe. I know Josh was pretty casual after the game in that game-winning touchdown run, but his teammates were constantly in awe of that play in that moment. What was it like for you, from your vantage point, to see Josh do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's what's going on. He is, I mean, it's one of those things when you're a coach, sometimes you're so thinking about, hey, the potential of the next play and what can happen, and you don't fully take in, like, greatness or like an elite play. And it's a tough thing, but like, I mean, our box was going crazy. It was an incredible run, incredible play, in the magnitude of the game. And just seeing a guy like him, Josh, just kind of put the team on his back. And it's something that we all know he can do at any given moment, and to do it when he did, and just to be able to bounce off a linebacker and go with it, and just see, you can see the love that his teammates have for him, and them all kind of jumping on him and celebrating with him, and the electricity in the stands, and it was a lot of fun, and it's a moment that I'll obviously remember, as much as I was naturally trying to think about, hey, what can be the next call after this 4th and 2. So, but he's a stud. Ball in his hand, good things happen.
And going off that, Josh said it was a play that was called for man. And when the ball is snapped, are you sitting in the box going, oh no, it's not man? What's going to happen at that point? Obviously, I know the game's in your hands, but is there that moment of like, uh-oh?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a man alert to his own check on it, and similar to what we had against Arizona, similar thing, and they ended up going zone coverage, but depending on the type of zone that we kind of see, Josh sometimes feels that, hey, the crossing patterns and the rubs are naturally going to do exactly what they did and kind of get everybody's eyes going a different direction, and he'll feel a spot to kind of run a little different if it was like, hey, a 3rd and 5 type of situation. And look, at the end of the day, I'm going to trust him all day, every day. And, whether he got to the zone answer or boom, or, ended up being zone, and he sees it, you can see how fast he realized, okay, it's not zone, I'm going to roll. And you can obviously see good things happen.
I appreciate it. Enjoy the bye.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, Joe, quickly, just one quick Josh question. After that performance yesterday and seeing some of the reaction nationally, I know you guys don't pay attention to that stuff, but I remember a really animated Brandon Beane at training camp when he was asked about, that player survey about, the most overrated player, and I guess it was Josh Allen, and there was a visceral reaction there. To see how he's responded to that, not that he needed to respond to it, but what can you kind of characterize or talk a little bit about the season that he's had and the development that he's had?
Yeah, I mean, I think you see a guy that's having a lot of fun playing football with his brothers, and playing within the system, and not caring about statistics, not caring about anything besides finding ways to win football games. And you see the hit that he took, throwing it up the coop on the double move, and you can just see a guy that everything is important to him, and all he wants to do is win. And and his teammates absolutely love him. And so I think, to me, that's what everything. He doesn't care about the accolades. He doesn't care about the hype. He just wants to win football games. And I believe our organization, our team, feeds off of him. And when he's doing those type of things, you can see how much the guys love him. You see when he scores touchdowns, how they celebrate with him. You can see when he's on the ground, how fast everybody is to help him up. They're not just doing that because it's a quarterback. It doesn't happen all the way across the NFL, but it's the genuine love and the trust and the care they have for him. And it's a lot of fun to watch.